Hello everybody, welcome back to Blackjack, and I just gotta say, I may have been spoiled on the ending. I may have been spoiled on who wins. Simply because I go to YouTube, I go to Lex Luthor versus Dr. Doom, and all I can see is like the framework with the suggestions in the side, and the like to dislike ratio. Currently it's standing at 19k likes with only 397 dislikes. That tells me it goes to Dr. Doom. Because people are sick of DC winning. However, that is me playing the psychological game. And that the psychological game may not be correct. By the way, if I know my teeth look a little dirty today. I was having a little keto chocolate, so everything is fine. Everything is fine. It's the day after Easter. I could have a little chocolate if I want. I could have a little real chocolate if I wanted. Oh my god. Okay. And again, I don't know why I'm getting the gray bar on the side. We're just going to have to learn to deal with it.
Lex Luthor, CEO of LexCorp and nemesis to Superman.
And Dr. Doom, King of Latveria and Doom of the Fantastic Four.
The intellect of these
provided they ever actually get him right.
Unmatched in their own worlds.
But what happens when the geniuses of these spiteful nerds collide? He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
10 years. We're keeping that up, huh?
Of Metropolis, soaring above all other structures, one can find atop the tallest building an L.
Who's the dickbag that decided to literally hang that L over everyone's head? Just
Yeah,
the one and only Lex Luthor.
Born and raised in Smallville, Kansas, Lex's early
Depending
life
on the
was
timeline.
complicated.
I love how
His
they
father, Lionel,
sneak
was a
in the
scientist doing dubious experiments on Martian
40k
animals.
doesn't wash his
Was
hands
wrecked on
because
this
he's evil.
Science operation, asses had to be covered. So Lex and his old man got a.
I'm just gonna say, the episode of Justice League where Green Lantern got his ring, he was coming out of a bathroom stall. He did not get an opportunity to wash his hands that entire episode. It was disgusting.
Convenient memory.
Oh, I didn't know he
reducing
founded the
Lionel
Legion
to
of
an
Doom.
alcoholic and setting Lex down a path to get away from his deadbeat dad. Right there with you, bud.
But because this is comics, that's just Lex's story in one continuity.
Yeah, I was gonna
Another,
say.
he's a mad scientist. In another, he's a self-made billionaire. And in yet another, he was friends with Superboy until Superboy made him bald. No wonder this guy's so cynical.
Regardless of which Lex we're talking about, he hates Superman. In his eyes, if Superman continues to exist, humanity will become weak and reliant on him, and ultimately perish. Supposedly.
Ever since Soups flew into town, he's been Lex's undoing.
But also his driving force in creating technology. Chief among them being his war suit.
This bad
Yep.
boy comes
Did he ever wear that in the animated
a
series?
force field, electroblast, missiles, a chest laser, and wrist plates
No.
for all your Batman shanking needs.
I'm trying to move this. Thank you.
Lex has utilized many different energy sources for his suits, but his newest and greatest is the Mother Box. A
Newest, yep.
inexhaustible piece of new god technology with which Lex can create energy beams.
Overusing the Mother Box comes at the risk of Lex losing himself to its power. However, this takes time and Lex has managed to control it. Yeah, control it. I'm so sure.
His suit and teleport via quantum folding.
The suit can survive a planet exploding and lets old Lex go toe-to-toe with Superman himself.
Fascinating.
It is questionable if his suit is directly comparable to Superman going all out, especially with his
Probably
reliance on
not.
kryptonite. But Lex has used it to fight with other DC powerhouses.
Like this orange bug man, Larfleeze, who's basically a one-man Lantern Corps. You know, that band of green boot
Interesting.
who can cross the universe in under an hour.
Knowing DC has a universe at least 100 trillion light years across, this would require a speed over 5 quintillion times the speed of light.
Or, how about the time Green Lantern Kyle Rayner held back the
Hold on.
frickin'
I don't think it's necessarily 100 trillion light years across. That's just from Earth, isn't it?
bang!
Much of Lex's tech is relegated to the war suit, but he does have on-hand gadgets too.
Yeah.
Such as a heat ray, robot replicas called Lexbots, and a special barrier that
Of course
temporarily
he has
turns
Lexbots.
anything it touches two-dimensional.
It turns you 2D, huh? That sounds like a weeb's wet dream. How does that work?
It's rather simple, actually. By applying higher dimensional physics to a simple 2D grid, we can replicate and place the form of a three-dimensional object into a lower, flattened form that...
Make it stop! Wow, I knew the old squirrel diet was a good idea. Unlike Lex's 80s tech, it's not all two-dimensional. Sure, he's had his squabbles with Superman, but after Supes died, not when he punched the gray guy when he blew up this punk Denny, he gained a newfound respect for the Man of Steel and took up his mantle.
Interesting.
Maybe he isn't the bald psycho everyone thinks he is.
Doubtful. Lex's actions, both good and bad, tend to stem from one thing. He really wants to be Superman himself.
Me jelly. It would be like the Everyman Project, an experiment meant to turn normies into superhumans.
Well,
Unfortunately,
isn't a big part of that is because he wants to be adored like that? Like, everything he's done is to be appreciated, and then Superman comes along just getting everything naturally. He's like the Rivali to Superman's Link.
Lex's genes were not compatible. He still went through the procedure, but even after some voluntary organ harvesting, he only had 6 months to live.
Of course.
Wow, Lex really does want to be Superman, even if it kills him.
But if Lex can't be Superman, he might as well make himself the one person that
Yep.
super citizen has to answer to. Which is why Lex decided to, what else, run for president.
Can you imagine a president who's an evil billionaire and hates aliens? So unrealistic.
Lex was already a nihilist with few real attachments, and became all the worse when he learned he could neither be nor control Superman. Take, for example, the time he made a cure for his sister's terminal illness.
Well, that doesn't seem so bad.
And then reinfected her with that same illness
Oh, of
seconds
course.
later, just to prove he could.
Jesus Christ! Never mind, he's evil. Why would anyone work for this guy?
Lex's outlook on life actually gained a big following.
Deduce Superman's and Batman's secret identities. I think I've gotten into this before, but Harley Quinn came like this close to figuring out who Batman was. It was really funny. Just based on the presence they have in a room. Impaled Starfire with a single blast, flew an island-sized asteroid through space. Fast enough to tag Kid Flash, wow. Made Superman bleed without kryptonite weaponry. Defeated Brainiac, wow.
After traveling millions of years into the future,
Of course.
comics, Lex saw a world where his goals became reality, where people quit aspiring to the impossible standards of superheroes, instead embracing who they were deep down, selfish and greedy animals.
So he literally inspired a philosophy around being the opposite of Superman.
Apparently.
The philosophy of being a
Isn't it
complete
ironic,
dick.
though, that even those who
But
chose
then, we conquered the universe in your name? Does that sound like something selfish people would do? They'd be fighting for credit.
to follow Lex's ideals called this philosophy Doom.
Huh. I guess Lutheran was already taken. Anyways, his fanboys from the future might consider it their doom, but to Lex, his ideals are everything. And to his credit, they have seen him through some pretty heavy stuff.
Like outsmarting Brainiac, getting tortured by Joker.
And getting shot out of a helicopter by a gorilla. Don't worry, somehow he got better.
Even completely
Somehow.
stripped of everything, standing before an almighty god, Lex Luthor will continue to defend his ideals. This harbinger of doom is truly beyond comprehension. Or so he says.
Who is it, Superman? Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time.
At first glance, Latveria appears to be a humble nation located in the center of Europe. But within its borders may be the greatest threat the world
I think
has
that
ever
was a
known.
dated math.
That threat being the
I'm just
malevolent
putting
kid,
that out there.
Dr. Doom!
But Doom did not start out as a king. Born as a Romani, Victor Von Doom had a
Which would mean he
tumultuous
still is
childhood.
one. It's an
After his
ethnicity.
mother's soul was taken by the demon Mephisto.
I guess that's a
His father
Central
died
European
alone
name
there.
for you.
Doom
Or
did
not
what any
Central.
mad scientist would do.
Eastern
Began
European name
making
for you.
inventions.
Cynthia Von
Like
Doom.
robot replicas.
It's real
Most
Eastern
favorite
European
red
there.
condiments, The Doom Bots. That sounds familiar.
The
Second in
technical
line for
wonders he made, while
Sorcerer
also scamming people, were so great the Empire State University offered him a scholarship.
He's 6'7".
Good old college try by Doom.
There, Doom built a device to communicate
Lord.
with his brother
Is that
in the underworld.
with the suit
But
or
because of a miscalculation
without it?
that may or may not be thanks to the thing, it blew up in his face. Literally.
It's okay, though. After the explosion gave him a nasty scar, Doom ventured to Tibet, where some monks did him a solid and helped him build a suit of armor.
Made from
And
a
then they
mastery of science and
crammed it
mysticism,
on his face while it was
Doom's
still hot,
titanium
like we said
armor
in the
goes
previous
beyond
one.
the wonders of ordinary technology and into the absurd.
It's the Swiss Army knife of power armors, complete with electrical blast, a device that scrambles brain neurons, and a
Solar
laser staff that
apparatus.
doubles as a technovirus.
At full power, the suit
So
can
he
break
can
through an
play
adamantine
Boktai
coffin,
without needing a
and allegedly
Game Boy.
It contains pieces of the cross that Jesus Christ himself was crucified on.
Just
I love
in
the
case
still a
pesky
comic book
Dracula
image.
comes your way, which he did. With this suit, Doom easily conquered Latveria and overthrew the Baron who gave him so much trouble years back.
Of course.
Take that, asshole!
Seeing how prosperous his rule was, Doom thought if he could make Latveria better by conquering it, why not make the whole world better by conquering it?
Well,
I mean,
the
it makes
Panther God
sense
did say
on
he should.
paper.
Too bad he was always stopped by the Fantastic Four.
And their leader, Reed Richards, also known as Mr. Fantastic.
To put it lightly, Doom frickin' hates him. One
Yep.
time when Doom was being pulled into hell, rather than try to escape eternal torment, all he wanted to do was burn and scar Reed's face.
To Doom, Reed Richards is a
Yeah.
man of unquenchable vanity and unmitigated arrogance, consumed by his own ego at the cost of everyone around him.
Yeah, I think Doom might be projecting a bit
Dr.
there.
Doom does
Though
as he
has
pleases.
failed many times to conquer the world, Doom certainly has the arsenal to do so.
Antimatter guns, bombs that transmute things to chrome, a molecular
Ooh.
expander that turns tiny particles into boulders, and time shift bombs that'll send you several seconds into the past.
But his most interesting
Ooh,
gadget
that's
is
gonna
the
be
cosmic
interesting.
Power siphon. While not particularly fashionable, at least before he implemented it into his suit, the siphon has absorbed and stolen the powers of numerous cosmic entities.
You might be asking, if Doom has
Interesting.
all these gadgets, why doesn't he use them more often? Well, in his own words, Doom's reasons are his own. Do not question them.
Doom is more than just a scientist. He's also a magician. In fact, a contender for Sorcerer Supreme. As such, he can employ all manner of magic spells. Barriers, teleportation, mystical energy blasts, etc.
They're showing all of these comic book panels, and I can't pause them
He
all.
can use a mind swap technique he took from the ovoids to switch bodies.
Like this.
Oh, how do you walk with these scrawny legs?
Okay, this always gets me in body swap plots. The vocal cords do not change. It should just be the other person affecting the original person's voice. Come on, people, deal with me.
Gun.
Why are there 6 of you? Am I drunk? Dummy! Change us back.
It should come as no surprise that a multi-classing nerd.
Okay, stated to think faster than the world's fastest supercomputer. Can he, though? Like, stated to. I can state anything I want. Gain the power to be God Emperor Doom. What does that mean? You need to tell me that. Defeated the Hulk, Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four. It looks like he also one-shot Storm, if that panel was to be believed.
Like Doom has taken on some of Marvel's toughest heroes.
He's faster than Reed Richards, who reacted to interstellar beams fired by Galactus, and has even deflected Thor's hammer.
The same hammer that
Yeah, so this
Thor
whole-
across
just
the
his
universe
hand.
in seconds.
Yeah.
Knowing Marvel's universe has a diameter of at least 1 trillion light years, Mjolnir must have been moving over 2 quintillion times the speed of light.
And that's not even getting into Doom's battles with the Green Universe Clapper, the Hulk.
Or the no-holds-barred punch he took from Sentry with only 7% of his suit's power left.
With
All
so
right.
much tech and magic, it's a wonder Doom ever loses.
Well, for all his
Yeah.
achievements, Doom does have one insurmountable weakness.
His ego?
Squirrel.
Oh, yes.
I knew it! Nobody's a match for those little bastards but me. But hey, as long as
It's so in continuity, so just deal with it, fanboy. Yep. I'm thinking Squirrel Girl versus Arale, but we all know they'd just go off and be friends.
It's good side. He should be alright.
He also has a bad habit of just losing godlike power at the worst of times.
Yeah.
Like when his control over the power cosmic was taken by a plot-convenient cosmic energy-stealing super airplane.
Still,
Yeah.
Doom persevered and became the
But that won't
god
be a
emperor
factor
of
here unless
everything.
Lex
And
knows how to
so
use
Mr.
that.
Fantastic stole his powers away.
Oh boy, if Doom already hated Reed, what did he think of him after that?
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly, Doom's time as a god caused an epiphany of sorts. He looked back on his actions, his ego finally shattered, and in his reflection was left with a desire to fix his ways.
So he took up the role of Iron Man of all people.
Really?
Being so world-conquering.
His scar's
became a
gone.
Good guy.
Just for a little bit, don't worry, he was back to being a maniacal would-be conqueror soon enough.
Yep.
Comic book status quo.
It seems a literal
Yeah.
multiverse-scale intervention couldn't keep Doom from being Doom.
Your plan to destroy them has failed, Master. Failed.
They used the same clip last time, too.
Dr. Doom does not fail.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, if you want to be as bold and confident as Lex and Doom, try out Blue Chew.
You know, it takes
Shut.
a lot of bravery to compete in one of our death battles. I mean,
So even your mail girl.
get your prescription in days. It's all
Blabbity, 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 blah. Okay, they both seem OP as fuck, but I'm gonna go with Doom here. I wonder, can he teleport Lex out of his suit? It seems like he probably could, but Lex probably has something to, like, counteract any sort of mystic arts. Especially because he knows Superman is weak to magic. I'm assuming he knows Superman is weak to magic, and thus would want to be able to defeat any sort of wizards or sorcerers that could defeat Superman, because he wants to do it. So I'm assuming he's got some sort of anti-magic tech, even though it didn't. I don't think it said anything about that. I don't know. Use the door!
A visitor?
Mr. Luthor, your company has invaluable resources for the people of Latveria. I will be seizing them.
Latveria? What an exquisite place to start a corporatocracy.
Weren't they calling it Latveria before? And now they're both mispronouncing it? Fight!
But then,
A mechanical replica.
It's called a Lex bot, you knuckle-dragging buffoon.
Its design is rather ingenious. Not as ingenious as mine, of course. But enough talk. Let us
Have at you!
charades.
With pleasure.
I turned it up a little bit. I hope it doesn't overpower you on that end. So remember, I can only get one ear out of the computer. Nah, two-dimensional space.
Two-dimensional morphographic technology. I haven't perfected it, but it's more than enough to exterminate an imbecile like you.
Oh boy.
Enough to exterminate an imbecile like you.
What? Fool! You fell for my time shift ball. Now,
Yeah.
what does?
You gotta go do the, what's that called? Dive kick. You know, if you'd approached Lex as a business partner,
What a farce. Impossible.
just keep attacking!
That word has no meaning for someone like me. What about you?
I'm kind of amazed the building is still standing. 3%.
And waste it on your incompetence.
He's already used 97% of his suit's power. Well, I imagine some of it was to get there. Ah, there we go. He's draining power out of Lex.
What kind of a man are you?
Oh boy. When could he do all of this in his regular form? Did I miss that?
Hiding behind this hideous mask, Tin Man. Let's show your true face the light of day.
Don't you see it? That mask is my true face.
Oh yeah? Ah, sweet. He Ginyu'd himself. Bye, Lex.
This power, it's like that of the gods beneath me.
I've heard of handing someone the L, but never pinning him to it.
Having a slight speed advantage and a stronger suit by most measures, Lex was able to hold his own with Doom for a time.
And sure, Lex could counter some of Doom's arsenal, but he couldn't defend against being transmuted to chrome, being blasted with antimatter, or getting his nerves scrambled from the inside.
What's more,
Yeah.
Lex's mind has been swapped before, once with Superman, funnily enough.
Meaning if things got desperate, there was nothing.
And once with the Flash, it's like, if I this, he was like, it was like he goes up to the mirror, is like, at least I'll find out the secret identity of the Flash. I have absolutely no idea who this is. Some characters with mental resistance is similar to Lex. This is likely because the mind transfer is a transference of the mind rather than attack or infiltration of it. Doesn't that still count as an attack if you're forcibly relocated?
Stop Doom from pulling a Captain Ginyu on Lex and swapping.
Yes, thank you!
His mother box was certainly a powerful device, but he never quite mastered all of its potential. Not to mention, Doom's ace in the hole, the cosmic power siphon, has drained and stolen similar energy sources time and time again.
Galactus, Silver Surfer, and even the friggin' Beyonder. Yeah, I know, this mulleted doofus doesn't look like much, but he apparently has millions of times the power of the entire Marvel multiverse.
All
And the
right.
siphon took all of it. There's no way the Mother Box could stand up to a device like that.
Thus, it was only a question of if Doom could bide his time before turning the tables on Lex.
And given all the beatdowns he's survived from Marvel heavy hitters like Hulk and Sentry, I'd say Doom had that time.
Lex's tech was an impressive challenge that had the stats to contend with Doom, but against Doom's bewildering gadgets, magical trickery, and power-stealing siphon, the advantage was in the Doctor's court.
The King of Latveria claimed his victory. Hopefully Lex isn't a sore Luthor.
This is Dr.
Thanks for watching this episode of
All right,
Death.
let's
Come
see
back
who we
next
got.
week to see previews of our upcoming matchups. If you want to watch more stuff, you can click the boxes right around here.
Hang on. Okay. Good. What? No, 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 no! I didn't want to open anything. No, stop it. I didn't know that would open if I clicked on it in my recording program. Okay,
And
come
you
on.
can always pick up some DB merch at store.
Apex of Doom is the theme. Ooh, Heihachi versus Geese. Nice! Finally, a throwdown I can sink my teeth into. I know that sounded like it was a pun, but it was not. Yeah, that's basically just going to be who punch good. And it's going to be fucking awesome. Although, they're going to go with the timeline split where Geese survives falling off the building, because it just wouldn't make any sense to use the timeline split where he died. So, still, I am going to have to give it to Heihachi, just because he has showed, like, he was thrown into a volcano. And yes, I know the thing where he was thrown into space, but that is non-canon. Hilarious, but non-canon. That's gonna be hilarious, though. Oh my god. Well, did I tell you or did I tell you? Although, I was doing essentially essentially a coin flip on the audience there. Just basing it off of the like to dislike ratio. Because let's face it, DC characters tend to get really freaking overpowered. Yeah, I am thinking though, who is a good opponent for Squirrel Girl? I mean, she's kind of undefeated. She beat Thanos. She beat Doctor Doom. She has accomplished pretty much everything, and I'm thinking Arale is really the only logical choice for her as an opponent. Especially because Arale's weakness is like people with what is it, like no sense of humor, or people who are above a sense of slapstick or whatever, which is why Beerus, like, she had no effect on Beerus. But wait, was it Beerus she had yeah, she overpowered Vegeta, for God's sakes, just on account of being a slapstick character. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Beerus that was able to defeat her, because it's not that he has no sense of humor, it's that he's unaffected by slapstick or something like that. He's unaffected by gag characters. But Squirrel Girl, being a gag character herself, wouldn't have that issue. You ever wind up with just mysterious flecks on your computer for no reason? I get cat hair. The cats don't even come in this room. God, look at how reflective my glasses are. My goodness gracious. Well, I didn't really have much to say about this battle. It went pretty much the way I thought it would. I don't remember them saying that Lex could do all of that outside of his suit. But someone in the comments goes, hey, Hachi versus Geese is just going to be them playing Tekken 7. The chances of Lex winning are similar to the chances of him getting his hair back. Lex waving his fist angrily at Superboy, turning him bald, is the funniest thing I've seen. I actually was expecting Lex to get a killing blow on Doom, then find out 3 seconds later it was a Doom bot. It was nice of Victor to let Lex fight with his skin on, and for longer than a second. First time one of the characters shouts impossible and doesn't lose after that. Latveria, what an exquisite place to steal 40 cakes. People talking a lot about the voice actors. They were really good. When you put two egomaniacs against each other, you're bound to get a few badass lines out of it. Yep. Valuable resources for Latveria will be seizing them. He is, of course, talking about 40 cakes. Yes. I love the comment section most of the time. That has to be, you know, delivered in a kind of rushed sotto voce right there. Most of the time. Alright. Well, I will let you go. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully before then. Hopefully I'm not going to have another dry spell while I don't make any videos for 2 weeks. But, you know, for another death battle, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I've been Blackjack Aviani, and you are not.